You ever witness something so raw, so unexpected, that it just stops you cold like the world takes a breath and forgets to exhale? That's what happened that day in Denver, under the floodlights of the Thunderdome Arena, when a 1,900-pound bull named Diablo came face to face with the only man who ever truly understood him, his old handler, Tommy Rivas. Now, you gotta understand, this wasn't just any bull. Diablo wasn't some sluggish, hay-chewing cow stuck behind a fence. He was a legend on the circuit. 8-second rides? Hardly anyone made it past 3. He'd thrown off world champions like they were made of paper. Arena staff called him the Widowmaker, not because it was catchy, but because they meant it. Mean, wild-eyed, scar-covered, and built like a brick wall on hooves, Diablo was the one bull even the brave whispered about. But once upon a time, he wasn't like that. See, way back when Diablo was just a calf, scrawny, abandoned, with a busted hoof, was taken in by a young trainer named Tommy. That man bottle-fed him, walked with him, slept in the damn barn during snowstorms, just to make sure Diablo didn't die from cold or loneliness. And in return, that bull followed him like a dog, learned his voice, trusted him. That trust got shattered one morning 3 years ago. No one knows what went wrong. Maybe it was a sound, a scent, or just bad luck, but Diablo spooked during training and charged. Tommy barely made it. Broken ribs, torn knee, punctured lung. He left the rodeo world that day with a limp and a silence so heavy. His wife Maria said he stopped smiling completely. Said he'd talk to the wind before he talked to another soul. Until that day. The day he walked back into the Thunderdome. Now he didn't come to make a scene. He wasn't there with cameras or speeches or some movie redemption arc. He came because he heard Diablo was riding again. And he just wanted to see him one last time. Maybe for closure. Maybe out of guilt. Maybe both. Jake Donnelly, a rising star on the rodeo circuit, was set to ride Diablo that night. Kid was nervous but cocky, like they all are before they meet real fear. But right before the gate opened, Diablo started acting strange. No bucking. No snorting. Just pacing. Staring hard into the stands like he was trying to recognize something. Or someone. And that's when Diablo saw him. Tommy had leaned on the chute rail, face shadowed under his old black Stetson. Didn't say a word. Just looked. Diablo let out this low rumble, not a snort, not a challenge, something softer. Like a memory that had teeth. Arena staff froze. Jake stepped off his rope and backed away. "I ain't riding tonight," he muttered. Smartest thing that kid ever did. Then Tommy, against every protocol, every bit of logic, climbed over the fence and walked toward the gate. Security moved to stop him. But Bill, the old chute boss who'd seen 20 years of spills, raised a hand. "Let it happen," he said. And they did. You could have heard a pin drop. Every boot in that arena rooted to the dirt. Diablo stared at Tommy, muscles tense, breathing hard, but he didn't charge. Didn't flinch. Tommy stopped 6 feet away, hands empty, voice steady. "Hey boy," he whispered. "I'm still here." Diablo lowered his head. "I swear to you, right there in front of 15,000 people, lights burning hot and cameras flashing, this monster of a bull stepped forward and gently pressed his forehead against Tommy's chest. There wasn't a dry eye around. Even the announcer forgot to speak. Tommy raised a hand, ran it along Diablo's neck like he used to when he was just a calf. "I never blamed you," he murmured. "I know you were scared." No one moved for a solid minute. And in that time, something broke loose in everyone watching, not fear, not awe, something closer to reverence. The next day, the owner of Diablo made a decision no one expected. Said he'd seen enough. Said Diablo had done more in that moment than any trophy ever could. He offered to retire him. But here's the kicker, he didn't just retire him. He gave him to Tommy. Yeah, gave. So Tommy bought a small ranch outside Pueblo, Colorado. Nothing fancy. Just space, shelter, and peace. Diablo lived there, free of cages, free of roaring crowds. Over time, Tommy brought in other troubled animals, abused horses, mistreated bulls, even a coyote with one eye. Somehow, Diablo helped them all settle down. They followed his calm, trusted him. Folks started visiting. Vets, trainers, even psychologists. They watched how this once feared bull became something like a counselor. Tommy called it emotional anchoring, said Diablo had learned how to carry fear without passing it on. A year later, Tommy gave a talk at a rodeo school. First time he'd spoken publicly since the accident. He told the kids, It's not the fight that defines a bull. It's whether he remembers kindness when the world tries to break him. Today, that ranch's name is Legacy Hollow. And Diablo? He's got a little patch of pasture where kids come to feed him apples. The same ones Tommy used to sneak into the barn when no one was looking. Some people still call him dangerous. Some say bulls can't feel like we do. That they don't remember. That they can't forgive. But I saw it. And if you had, too, you wouldn't be so sure. So tell me this, have you ever been hurt by someone you loved and still found a way to come back to them? Or maybe been the one who needed to be forgiven? Leave a comment below. I want to hear your story. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do, whether you're a man or a bull, is remember love louder than fear. And if you believe that matters, share this. Let the world know that even the wildest hearts can heal. Let the world know that even the wildest hearts can heal. Thing is, healing don't mean pretending like it never hurt. Tommy still walks with a limp. Still wakes up some nights drenched in sweat from dreams of hooves and dust. But he says now, when he steps outside and sees Diablo lying under that old oak tree, peaceful, calm, eyes half closed like he finally knows he's safe, it makes everything worth it. There's a quiet rhythm to their days now. Morning coffee with a side of hay. Diablo still doesn't like loud noises, still bolts when a truck backfires, but he always circles back. Always looks for Tommy. That bond. It ain't shiny or dramatic anymore. It's just real. Solid. Earned. Last fall, a film crew came out, trying to make a documentary. Fancy cameras, lights, makeup, you know the deal. But Diablo wasn't having it. Wouldn't come out of the barn. Tommy just laughed and said, "Guess he's done with the spotlight. Let him be." And that was that. There's no plaque on the gate, no social media handle, no merchandise. Just a worn sign hand-painted by Maria that says, "Legacy Hollow, where forgiveness grows." Some Saturdays, Tommy hosts small gatherings, vets with PTSD, kids from foster homes, ex-riders trying to let go of guilt or grief. They come, sit under that oak, listen to Tommy talk, or just sit in silence watching Diablo graze. And every now and then, when no one's watching, Diablo walks up behind Tommy, nudges him gently on the shoulder like he's reminding him, "Hey, I'm still here too." There's power in that. In knowing the worst version of you didn't scare away the one who knew your best. So here's my question to you, and I want you to really think about it before you scroll away. Who's your Diablo? Who's the one you lost? Or maybe hurt? Or maybe still carry in the back of your mind, wondering if they'd even recognize the version of you today? And if they stood in front of you again, what would you say? Drop it in the comments. Doesn't matter if it's raw, messy, unresolved, we've all been there. Maybe your story's the one someone else needs to read tonight. And if you believe second chances are real, not perfect, not easy, but real, go ahead and share this video. Not for the views. For the ripple it might start in someone else's chest. Because in a world full of noise and bucking rage, sometimes all it takes to change everything is a man, a bull, and a quiet moment of mercy. That's the story. And I'm glad you heard it.